Hello and welcome to my channel, Linux World. And today's topic is a continuation in our container platform series of Podman. In the last video, we talked about how to create a custom image with using a Docker file, and we have deployed a custom image using the command line, and last time we deployed a custom image using a Docker file. So we have two containers running with the custom images. One is Apache Web Server HTTPD and the other one is Nginx. They should still be running. So with the Podman ps command, we can see that we have a HTTPD container running and a container running serving our Nginx. Okay. In today's topic, we're going to talk about using external storage in containers. So just to touch base on these two containers, we used a curl command on local host at port 8081. So this is our first HTTPD container. It's still running. You can still see the output. The other one would be running on port 8082. Docker file, which was deployed from a Docker file. The image was deployed from a Docker file. You can see the same from the web browser if you wish. Let me check the same from the web browser. So the IP address for our local host is 10.0.0.111 colon port 8081. Let me blow that up. It's HTTPD on Podman container. See the output port 8082 Docker file. So these two websites are running on our two different containers. Okay, so let's clear the screen out, and that was a quick recap of what we have done so far. And in today's video, we're going to talk about using external storage on containers. So when a container is removed, data inside it is also removed along with it. So it is necessary to use external storage on containers if you'd like to save your data on containers. So there are two ways to do this. First thing is, this is our host, test VM, hosting our containers. Containers, think of it as, in other words, virtual machines running on VMware in a hypervisor. These are just small containers running on a virtual machine or a physical server. So, with that being said, let's create a directory. Okay, dir under var lib containers, call it disk 01. Okay, so we have created a disk under a directory under var lib containers called our disk1. Now we are going to create a file under that directory, so, and write something to it and then mount it to the container like so. So I'm going to write a file under it called test file.txt, and I'm going to write persistent storage inside that file for testing purposes. Okay, let's cat that out and see. So it says it's there. Now let's run a container with mounting this directory under /mount on a container. And we're going to run this container in a non-demonized mode or non-detached, in a detached mode. So once we exit out of it, it disappears. It doesn't stay running. So podman run -it interactive tagged with -v to specify our local external storage, which is under, that's var lib container disk1, and we're going to mount this under /mount and use CentOS stream 9 image and give us a bash shell. Okay, now you can see that I am logged into this container in an interactive mode. and I can do define file system in a readable table format, human readable format. And you can see that /mnt is mounted from an external server, which is TestVM, which is our host. So if we go and cat a file under mnt, we should see a test file in there, and it says persistent storage. So there you go. So we have that locally on our system, and we mounted it here, and we can read it here on the container. So if I exit out of here, it will disappear. Do podman ps. This container is not running, only our nginx and httpd container is running. But if I do podman ps-a, you will see that I ran a container. It's under inactive. It's an exited state. I could delete this container as well. Pod rm and the container ID. I should remove it if I run. So only 2 containers are running now. Okay, so this is one way of exporting external storage. Another way is to create a local container volume with the command podman volume create volume 1. Okay, so we can do podman volume list. We have our local volume called volume 1. Podman volume inspect volume 1. Yes, I meant inspect. Oops. Volume 1. Sorry. Should use copy paste, right? Okay, so this gives us the name, the location. So if you remember, if I press the up arrow and go, when I created this volume, I didn't specify where it's going to get created. By default, it gets created with the inspect command. We can see that it got created under varlib containers, storage volumes, and it's under volume. So if we copy this path up until volumes, we should see it created under there, right? Command C. So we'll do an ls minus ltrh under this. There's the volume 1 over there. Okay, so it will, it's a directory basically. You can go under it, right? Another directory in there. So anyway, so you could do that or manually create a directory. So now this time we will try and create a container and mount this volume on that container. Podman run -it -v to specify our local external storage, and it's going to be volume 1. We're going to mount this volume under /mnt of the container, and we're using CentOS stream 9 image. It looks good, and we are, since we specified the IT here, we got an interactive shell going here. So if I do df-th/mnt, it's mounted coming from our test VM. And if you go under /mnt, we didn't create any file this time like we did last time. But what we do is we will create one here. So let's say you created this container, you mounted the volume, and you're going to write a very important file here. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to write a podman volume test, right? I'm gonna write it to a test file here, dot text. Cat the test file, we see that text, and we will exit out of here, and we will now cat that file, which should be under our Podman PSV. That container is not running, only two container IDs. So that container is gone, but the data is not gone. If I do a cat on var lib container storage volumes, volume 1 under data, there's a test file. That file is still here. So very good practice to store your configuration or important files or website folders, files, and directories on your local host by using external storage. So this is how you do it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We are going to in the next video, we're going to talk about how to use external storage from a network mounted storage. This time we used local storage from our host, which is hosting the containers. Thank you again. Stay tuned.